Welcome back. Overnight we saw the murderer at the centre of the Norwegian attacks face court. Here in Australia, his horrific actions have led to calls for different sorts of action. Anti-gun lobby groups demanding the ban of Glock pistols after reports that he used that sort of weapon, and also the Christian lobby today calling for bans on violent video games. Here was Jim Wallace on AM Agenda this morning.
As soon as I heard the reports of the victims who said that this man walked around methodically, just shooting people as if they were not human beings, he'd clearly dehumanised them. This was exactly what you see the shooter do in this airport theme of Modern Warfare 2, where he even goes to the point of shooting, pumping bullets into people who are clearly wounded.
John Williams and Kelvin Thomson are still with me this afternoon. John Williams, do you agree with that? Do you think that as a result of the attacks in Norway we need to reconsider both the gun laws and the violent video game laws in this country?
Well, actually, when I look at the gun laws, and I was involved in that, being a farmer when the gun buyback scheme came in, I had 8 guns and rifles. I had hand one in, a semi-automatic 22. I saw then that the innocent people in Australia handed their guns in. We've got a black market of importing of illegal weapons. That is my big concern. When you see the stories and the footage of people, for example, having a pistol robbing a garage at 3 o'clock in the morning, what we need to do is clamp down on those trafficking in illegal weapons. I think that is the biggest threat to our gun laws. As far as the video goes, well, I've never watched one of them. I'm certainly not an expert on it, but where's parenting here? You know, parents got to be aware of what their children are looking at, and a lot of this stuff, you know, why would you want to be watching that sort of thing and playing those sorts of games? I think there would be a real problem there, and that's something that should be looked at.
Kelvin Thomson, what do you think about this? The Brendan O'Connor, the Home Affairs Minister, has already suggested that enough is already in place, especially when it comes to those violent video games. We haven't really heard anything from the government about any thoughts on how we might need to improve laws in Australia as a result of that incident on the weekend.
Ashley, in relation to the guns, I can remember the massacres in Melbourne, the Hoddle Street massacre, the Queen Street massacre. I actually worked for Australia Post at the time, and then shortly after I was elected to the federal parliament in 1996, we had the horrendous Port Arthur massacre, and I rate John Howard for the actions that he took at that time. John expresses some concern about the impact of all that, but I am sure that Australia is a much safer place to live in as a result of the steps that were taken at that time to reduce the incidence of the kind of weapons which are used in massacres in our community. So I'm always happy to see these matters reviewed in the light of the terrible thing which has occurred in Norway, a dreadful massacre, and our hearts go out to people in Norway who've been the victims, the family members in relation to that. I'm always happy to see gun laws being reviewed with a view to making Australia as safe a community as we can possibly make it. In relation to violent videos, I'm a bit old-fashioned about these things. I do have a concern that violent videos may have an impact on people, that they can desensitise people to violence, and so I am happy for these things to be reviewed. The government has taken action to make clear that young people should not have access to violent videos, and I welcome the action that's been taken in that regard. But I think that this is something that we need to keep it under watch and under notice. I don't pretend to understand all the impacts myself, but I think it's the kind of thing that there needs to be appropriate research and monitoring of, so that we don't have a situation where some people in our society are encouraged to go off the rails and think that it is all right to take the law into their own hands and to kill and destroy in the way that we've seen.
Absolutely, I think we can all agree on that. John Williams, Kelvin Thomson, appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
Good to talk with you.
If you were with us yesterday for the program, you